Well, we've reset the stage here, and joining us now is Cindy Townsend. She's going to tell us about the perennials that we have for this year.
The new and exciting perennials?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to these Agastaches. I noticed you have a few of them.
Yeah, I love them. We've got a new summer series of Agastache, and this one is Raspberry Summer. And it gets a little bit taller, and this is the perfect color for your hummingbirds and stuff like that, which the common name for Agastache is hummingbird mint. But look at how gorgeous this is, and it's a little bit bicolored, which is amazing. This one does get a little bit taller, so you put it at the back of the garden, but you can put the Salvia Farinaceae in front of it with the new Cathedral series that April has.
Yeah.
Over here, I've got Summer Sky, and this is a dwarf variety, which is what I love, because this is a little bit more small garden friendly. This size only gets about 15 to 18 inches.
Okay.
As does the yellow Summer Gold or Summer Glow. And it only does about 15 to 18 inches also. You know, you might get 20 inches if it's super happy, but
Yeah.
it's still relatively short for an Agastache. And then the Coronado Red, this one, so here we've got this Coronado Red that only does about 15 to 18 inches and stays very, very compact. So you've got the aroma from the Agastache, you've got the non-stop bloom color from the Agastache. They'll start blooming. You notice they're blooming already. In the garden, they'll start blooming when the lantana, when it heats up enough for the lantana, it goes all the way through frost, and it'll take a couple hits before it'll go down. Doesn't need deadheaded, doesn't need reshaped. It virtually is one of those set it and forget it and look beautiful plants, which is why I just truly love Agastache.
It's a great, great addition.
Over here, right next to the Agastache, this is another amazing new introduction that we really need to watch and see. It's called Early Bird Gold Rudbeckia. The beauty behind this one, it is not day length sensitive. This is a sport off of Goldstrom, and everybody's familiar with the hardy, you know, perennial Goldstrom Rudbeckia. The sport is for not being day length sensitive means it's going to start blooming a whole lot sooner and bloom a whole lot longer.
It's going to keep
so
on blooming.
This is another one you would use in a small garden because it performs so well with color and continually goes along.
It has a very delicate look to it, too.
Yeah, I
really
love
like
it.
that.
I think it's really beautiful, and we coupled it up with this Salvia Evelyn, and this one is already on its second bloom cycle, and it's got a very upright stature with bicolored flowering. Look at the light, delicate pink with a little bit of purple.
That's such a unique color for salvia. It's very pretty.
Well, and this one we had it last year in the garden in one of our pots, and it bloomed all summer long. We deadheaded it, it came back. Deadheaded it, it came back. So it's really a great performer that way. I brought in the butterfly blue scabiosa so that you would know what kind of flower type that I'm talking about. This new scabiosa here, this one is, pronounce it for me.
Beaujolais?
Beaujolais bonnets, yeah, like the wine. And this one's going to have a deep red color to it versus this light blue. It's going to get a little bit taller, but the intensity of the color I think is going to be amazing in the garden.
Really nice together.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. They've been working with the Coreopsis again.
I'm excited about this one.
This one is Red Shift, and it's going to have some white and yellow, and then this coloration that you're seeing on the tag is a cooler weather color. So in the fall, this is when this color would appear. And it kind of has a tie-dye streaking effect to it.
It's great. You get so many different colors on the same plant.
Isn't that amazing?
Really interesting.
Isn't that amazing? And it's a perennial, so that's just great. Next to it, Creme Brulee Coreopsis has hit the market a few years ago and has been an amazing performer as far as flower power. It'll keep going and going and going. Well, the Sienna Sunset has a little bit of orange hue to it, which we all know we love the oranges in the garden. It's one of the colors that have kind of taken over. So this one will have a nice soft, and I'm kind of waiting to see how this one performs and if it does as well as Creme Brulee as far as being able to keep reblooming.
Yes.
Next to that, look at this. Isn't this amazing?
That is beautiful foliage. I love the pink edging.
This is Erynginum, and Erynginum is a sea holly, and it has those nice kind of flowers. It doesn't show the flower here, but it's a blue flower that just is kind of stiff, and you can use them for flower arrangements and stuff like that. This one is a dwarf variety, and I love the little bit of red hue to it. Again, that's probably going to be a cool season color. And then we coupled this Jade Frost with a tricolor sedum. And the reason we use the tricolor sedum is that as the heat kicks in, the tricolor sedum will get more and more red, which will give us great contrast with this feather rock. and feel this rock.
I like these rocks. I was moving it around earlier. It's very light.
Very
easy to
lightweight
use.
and soft, and they have drilled into them. It's easy to drill into, so they've drilled into them and created this ability to pot your plants in it and give you a really, really natural look. Or you could simply stick a potted plant inside it and still have a natural look and change it out a little bit if you like.
And there's a drainage hole in the bottom, so it's perfect planter.
Yeah, they drilled a drainage hole in it, and it's just really, I mean, I think beautiful. And it's got a rough feel to it. It looks soft, but it feels a little bit rough.
I've been seeing these blue chips around at the plant shows. I think it's a nice boodle that.
They've received a lot of promotion, and the reason behind that is it's a dwarf variety, very compact, and it blooms and blooms and blooms. It doesn't go to seed, so it causes it to rebloom continually. You would still maybe, and this is our first try with this. This is the first one we've brought in, so I'm not sure how fast it kicks off the new blooms. So I'm not sure if you're going to want to deadhead it between blooms and trim it back, or if it's going to kick the blooms out fast enough, like the knockout rose, where you really aren't going to need to prune it or anything.
We'll have to wait and see how
that
performs.
Now we're up here with the Gaillardia, and there's a Gaillardia Tizzy and a Gaillardia Frenzy. This one happens to be Frenzy, and it's got this really nice bright orange color, and see this little bit of yellow right here?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to tip out with the yellows, and it'll be really great bicolored Gaillardia. Just a kind of a breakthrough color, I think, for the Gaillardias, and it's got that
really
fanfare.
Fun structure as well.
Well,
architecture.
It's got the little tubular flowers, like the fanfare that has been so popular, which is why I really love this one. It's just beautiful. Next to it, we've got some new echinaceas once again. And the beauty behind this is this first one we're looking at is Tomato Soup. And they came out with a Tiki Torch, which is a bright, bright orange.
Yes.
Tomato Soup is a bright red. And I haven't seen it bloom yet, but I can't wait.
It's looking good, and all the pictures I've seen of it, I'm excited for that one.
Terra Nova does a great job. And next to that, you know, couple the yellow with the red. So they also came out with the Mac and Cheese, which is a breakthrough color for echinaceas, really. You know, we're used to kind of seeing the reddish orangish colors out of the echinaceas.
But a pure yellow.
But a pure rutabaga yellow, actually. Behind them, we've got some new sedums also to talk about and promote. This one is Hab Gray. And true to its name, it takes on maybe a dusty gray color to the foliage, and even you see the hints of red trying to break through.
Yes.
And as the summer develops and as we head into fall, it's going to develop some pink blooms that are going to open up to a nice yellow color. So in that development stage, when it's trying to break through, you're going to have a little bit of color contrast, which will be also great with this sedum. So it's a nice upright new sedum that's really going to be pretty.
There's another great sedum here when I pull that out.
The interesting behind this one, this is an improved variety of Verde Misen, and the Verde Misen is a nice darkish purpley red color.
Yeah.
And it kind of elongates. Well, this one's going to do the same thing. It's going to elongate, and then it starts out green, and you see how it's trying to change.
It's starting to poke through. You can see the colors.
Isn't that beautiful? And I love it, when the plants change color. And this one's going to have pink buds with nice red flowers in the fall, which will be just really stunning.
It even has a little bluish to it too.
I was noticing that too. Then the Dianthus is another product that we have had so much fun with the Dianthus this year. This run right here is Firestar. And see the intensity of the red? And the Dianthus, as we know, will keep blooming, and you'll deadhead them maybe a little bit, and they'll reflush intermittently. And the aroma behind the Dianthus, oh my gosh. We've got Dianthus full in house number 10, and it just instantly smells good when you walk over to house number 10. Next to it, we've got Starlet.
That is delightful.
Isn't that a beautiful double bloom? And then next to that, we've got Pomegranate Kiss. Look at this one. And Pomegranate Kiss and Starlet are kind of similar, but the pomegranate has just deeper red color to it. And then behind that, we've got Coconut Punch. Just beautiful.
It's a great combination with the white streaking in there.
And the other nice thing I like about these Dianthus is you've got this blue grassy-like foliage, which just seems to be beautiful. And you put that in the edge of the bed, so you would have some nice, even when they're not blooming, you've got that really nice grassy blue type foliage, which I think is really beautiful.
Absolutely. We have some shade plants down here as well.
Yes, we do. And I'm super, super excited. I couldn't wait for this one to come in. This is a heucherella actually, and it's called sweet tea. And who doesn't love sweet tea in the summer?
Oh, look at that.
It's and true to the heucheras and heucherellas, it changes hues as the temperatures change. The hues of the leaves change, and the sweet tea is going to have a nice big leaf. I'm thinking it's going to be probably as big as my hand, and it's going to have a nice substance in the garden where it's not going to be too big and overgrown, but it's going to show itself. It's not going to be too small. And then next to that, look at this bright yellow. This one's tiramisu, and it's got the bright yellow with red in the veining of the plant. And look at that. See how thick and that one is? And it just is like having a spotlight, but this one is tiramisu.
That's going to really stand out in a shady spot.
And with the heucheras, what I'd like to point out with them, if they're white flowering and not too attractive, then just go ahead and trim the flowers before they bloom, and that keeps your foliage looking a whole lot better and doing what it needs to do in the garden. When it starts flowering too much, the foliage kind of gets exhausted.
Yeah.
So, and next to it, this one is Plum Royal. I was stunned. When this one came in, it looked like a normal heuchera, and it didn't have a whole lot of color or substance to it, and I was thinking, oh, okay, maybe this one's not so great. As we started growing it off and it got more light and a little bit more maturity, we started seeing the true purple colors come out of this one. And this one's called Plum Royal, and this one can handle more sun, so you can keep it, you know, like at 1, 2 o'clock. You know, let's get it out of the sun by about 3, but that'll give it enough sunlight to really take that depth of purple, and it'll have a velvety appearance in the garden, which I think is going to be beautiful.
Absolutely.
Then next to that, we've got this new viola, and I really want you to show the flowers on this. This one's called Columbine, and it almost looks like tie-dye, with a little hint of yellow in the center. You know, and these are clump forming violas, so they don't take over your beds like your grandma's violas that take over everywhere. They're clump forming, so they're not going to cover the ground all over.
We have another nice ground cover here.
This one, oddly enough, is a juga. Look at that.
Oh, that's great.
See how it's streaked with a little bit of white?
Yeah.
Now this, for the shade garden, is going to be amazing, because when you have this little bit of streaking of white, it makes other plants kind of shine and sets a little bit of contrast for them. And this one's called Sparkler.
Sparkler. Before we leave, you have a wonderful specimen here. Look at this.
This is Bejonaria, and we've actually had this one for a few years, but it's getting ready to bloom, and that's why I really wanted to bring this over and show you guys. The bloom head on this can actually reach about 7 foot, so it's really going to be amazing. And the common name for it is false red agave. We call it the ding dong plant because that's its name.
Excellent. Well, Cindy, thank you so much for sharing these plants with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.